Just to review here, the motion sketch is on this tablet right here, or tab right here. You start capture. And play it back. This is a wonderful way to get real-time input in. Now, has anyone used OSC in processing? Show hands. Yeah. Okay, so essentially what you can do is create that motion sketch-like effect with anything. Right? You can draw with anything you want. You can get in OSC from an input device, route it through oscillator, pipe it to processing, and save it in a text file.
There's no way to get that right from the oscillator.
Oh, that's what you're doing, right? You'll be getting that input from.
But it doesn't have anything. It doesn't write to the text file. Processing.
Right. Oh, also, where's the auto orient to? Yeah. This is just a nice little effect. If you use, if you have something on a path and then you tell it transform auto orient, you can have a shape that follows a path. Here, let's smooth this out. Smoother. So 3 is often a good number. And I mean, look how different this this appears. Let's turn on motion blur, add a little. Look how live it appears because it's actually receiving live input. So once again, I use motion blur. Huh. Nope, I should have Wacom driver installed. That's working. Sure. Well, let's see. This poor thing. Oh, what? There we go. It's just, yeah, this is just sick. Poor little guy. But let's see if this turns up an oscillator. There. Let's see. Okay. Well, here. Let's skip ahead and look at OSC in processing. So to work with OSC, you need three things. You need to know three things. You need to know, and you need an IP address. And this is all going in the wiki. Which is, if you're just communicating between two devices on the same computer, that's what's called local host. It's always 127.0.0.1. Those of you who have worked with OSC before have probably seen this one before. You need a port number, which is just a number that both the sending and receiving application agree on to communicate over. 4-digit number. And then you need to name a channel that you're going to communicate over. Which it can be whatever you want. Think of it as a variable name. Here, awesome, thanks. Maybe it is the drivers. That's interesting. Yeah. Bamboo. What's this? Nah. Only have 15 minutes left. We'll do this next time. What'd you say? Well, yeah, I had motion capture.
Sorry,
Mhm,
were you
yeah.
going to use the waveforms for something having to do with OSC? Or
Yes.
motion sketch?
Well, you can use the Wacom for motion sketch.
Okay.
It's actually really well suited to drawing drawing that way with much more control than a trackpad or mouse. What I was going to do was pipe the Wacom into Osculator. And what this does, so this is left over, what happens if you have a new Osculator project is when you plug in any kind of interface device, it will show up here. We may be able to do this with the mouse. But like, you could also do this with a game controller. You could do this, say, with a Wiimote. It has a special option just for installing and configuring a Wiimote.
Does it have like serial input?
I think anything you can get into the computer, like anything you can get. So it's not recognizing, this computer isn't recognizing the driver here. Let's see if we can do this with the mouse as a stopgap. References. So I've never actually used the mouse. I've used the Wiimote or Wacom. Okay, well let's, the time we have now, let's just go over OSC, and then we'll pick this up next time. because this is, yeah, I mean, it can, oscillator can also use a mouse. Okay. Okay. Here is a sender. I was looking for the receiver. Here's an example with Isadora. There we go. There we go. Okay. So we'll pick this up next week. Like working with controllers and saving data. What we're going on with, what we're working on, what I'm working with here, working towards, I should say, is using different controllers to draw data that you can then use in a video. Right? How many of you played around with rotoscoping before? Right? So you can, rotoscoping is using live action footage as a reference and for animation. Motion capture is a subset of rotoscoping, right? We're automating the process of getting information out. You can also use anything you want as a drawing tool, right? You're not limited to a mouse or a Wacom tablet. So what we're working towards here is getting controller information in, through oscillator. GlovePy is the equivalent on PC, and using that to create data, right? To create text data that we can then bring into After Effects, just like Motion Sketch. So what's going on here is this is using, here we're sending from processing to Isadora. This is how you do OSC. This is not what we'll be doing next week. We're going to be taking OSC data from our controller to oscillator to processing, saving the data, and then bringing that into After Effects to use. But you can use OSC, and it's definitely, those of you who haven't used it before, this is really a critical tool for all kinds of creative coding because you can use it to get any two apps to talk to one another. Here we have Isadora, which is this VJ app, which can receive OSC. Ableton Live, Maximum SP Jitter, if you've done that, they can all speak OSC. where we have a IP number. And remember that if you're communicating with on the same computer, going from and to apps on the same computer, that's always going to be 127.0.0.0.1 localhost. And then the port number is just one that you agree on. 1234 is by default if you get Isadora particularly. MIDI net, there's 1234. And then you need a channel name, which in Isadora's case, it wants all your channels to be the word Isadora plus a number. Isadora 1, Isadora slash and a number. But when you're writing your own program, you just make up what port number, what channel name. This will also go. Yeah.
It's just pumping out random numbers.
Yes, exactly. It's pumping out random numbers.
Visual is it's like it's
Spinning. That is just.
the rotation is.
That's this effect. We can delete this. That's what's going on.
Putting on the points.
Right. Here's a movie player. Which is feeding into a sprite. This is a great program if you're interested in quickly building theatrical projections, especially. It's not as powerful and wide-ranging as Max MSP Jitter, but it's much faster, can be. I mean, in terms of building stuff, performance-wise, comparable. So this is just feeding a movie into a sprite, and then the OSC is changing at random, changing the X and Y position of the sprite. And of course, this isn't terribly useful because you could just easily build a random number generator in Isadora. But you could do something like, for instance, this. It's a problem with Isadora here that it doesn't. There we go. Right, so here I am using a processing app, which is then moving this graphic around in Isadora. I'm sending information between the two.
Oh.
Notice how these two numbers are the pixel dimensions. Once again, that's nothing you couldn't do in Isadora itself, but you could do this over a network as well. You could have two computers. Then you would use a different IP address. You would use an IP address of the actual computer on the network you're sending it to. You can pipe data between applications. You can send pixel data to a sound application. But specifically, what I think is a useful application for us in this class is getting weird controller data in and turning it into keyframes. OSC support, we actually talked to the After Effects development team about adding direct OSC support to After Effects, which would be amazing. And they already have motion sketch. All they would need to do is let OSC drive that and let you add as many dimensions as you wanted, not just X and Y.
So if you're using the remote, does it get the Z data?
What did you say?
When I'm using the remote, does it get the Z data?
Uh-huh. Yep.
And there's no way though to translate that to like a 3D path.
There totally is. That's what I'm getting at, yeah. When you have a controller you can move in 3D, you can save XYZ data and you can use that in After Effects. Yeah. There is a drawing program that's meant to be used entirely in 3D. It's called Sandy. It's Windows only and commercial. but it's you can use it with any controller. It speaks OSC, and you draw in 3D space. It's kind of fun. Like I've seen many people using it. It's sort of like a Renaissance painter standing in front of a canvas. You can wander around and build things that go back in space by actually moving around. So that's what I was. Something like that is what I was planning on being to demo today. What did you say? This uses any controller. It's a drawing program, and then you send OSC into it. It's set up with some plugins to work with some popular controllers. You can use a Kinect, you can use a Wiimote. They recommend a Razer Hydra, which is something I just bought one the other day. If there's interest in this, I can bring it to class and try to make it go. It seems to have very poor support. Like very few people seem to be using them. What it is basically a Wiimote that has wired, so it uses a cable instead of Bluetooth, but very high resolution. So you can actually do fine motions with it and have a cursor under do very detailed control. That seems really promising, and these guys recommend it for their software. But the principle involved something we can all do. Right? It's just a matter of getting that controller's data, right, and then typing it into After Effects. Just like what I was saying with the cameras, it's just a matter of figuring out, well, what transformations do I need to do? Like, what simple math do I need to do to turn this format into that format? So when in a few more classes time, when you divide up into groups and plan your projects, really be thinking not just about what kind of film you want to make, but also like what kind of problem you want to tackle. Right, because it'll go a lot better if there's two of you who are interested in the same thing. Like if two people are interested in trying to draw in 3D, or trying to position cameras, or other sorts of computer vision tricks. There's some crazy stuff you can do with stereo cameras for 2D, for regular graphics. Personally, I'm much more interested in the possibilities that Stereo 3D opens up for regular 2D, two-dimensional animation, than I am in like actually using that technology to watch a 3D movie as a finished product. It's all the other stuff that I find so cool, like the Kinect. So let's just pick this up next week then. We'll continue with the drawing. I'll move the assignment that I'd slotted in for this week to next week. Let's just continue. What is it?
If you could give us assignments, well, if you're not planning on giving us an assignment this week, could you state the assignment that you're going to give next week?
I wrote them all down. I wasn't sure how much self-directed work you guys wanted to do at first. If we'd be working on, if you'd come with films ready to go, or how much you wanted to do. Because I knew there was an After Effects class that you all had an After Effects class already.
Well, idea is the hardest part, I think.
Right. Well, here are the two assignments then coming up. Two more short ones. Go away. Rotoscoping. So which just means working with drawing. So using these tools, using Motion Sketch, using Photoshop to draw over footage. Working with drawing in a live action performance, and then building up this Rube Goldberg machine assignment, which is one I do to teach working with cameras and environments. And some of you have already begun doing this. Build an environment and move a camera through it, essentially. So those are the two short ones coming up. And after that, I've just broken down our film into weekly progress marks, and then we'll do that. Any questions? What did you say? In 2 weeks, right. So we'll just pick up this demo next week. And thanks for collecting the twin columns.
Yeah. There's a new one, but I couldn't find
Sure. Well, Murphy's Law.